Good morning, guys. Welcome to another episode of Fishing Fan. Today is going to be a little bit different. Today's episode is brought to you by the Mule Jig. This is a bait that our buddy Ethan, also known as the Online Outdoorsman, he kind of created that bait and has, been selling it to a lot of people. He gave us some. We bought them, of course. We like to support, and they're awesome baits. And jigs. They're awesome jig heads. And we'll leave the link in the description, a link to those jigs, and also a link to Ethan's channel. You guys should definitely check out his channel because it's good. Mark's going to talk to you guys about how he rigs these, which is very, very interesting. I've never seen anybody rig anything like this before, but he destroys it. So he's going to talk with you about that. I'm going to talk with you guys about how I rig them on the fly, which is a little bit different, but I'm going to go ahead and let Mark take over this spot.
Here's the jig again, the jig head. It's almost like a Ned, but a lot smaller, so it's way more finessey. You catch big ones on this too. A lot of people think, oh, you're just going to catch little ones, which is true. You will catch little ones, but I've caught 4-pounders on this, and it's a fun bite on a light rig. Catching a 4-pounder, it's just a hell of a fight. So what I use is a cut tail worm, Yamamoto Kut Tail worm. That's this guy right here. And if they're too little and I'm not getting bites, I'll just take a little bit off of the Yamamoto, and it's a little smaller presentation, and you start getting bites immediately. I have not gotten skunked on this since I've tried it. I have it rigged on a light rod. This is actually a Sticks series rod, the #1. I also have it on this medium carbon light. I have 10-pound high vis braid with a 6-pound leader. I use P-line, the fluoro clear. It's very strong line. Caught 4-pounders on that, so that's what I use. I'm gonna go ahead and turn it over to Junior, and he could go over his fly setup.
Okay, so the way that I rig them up, I don't have it tied on right now, but I use the 1/80th size jig head, and what I do is I just put one of these small little crappie, little swim bait grub type things on there, because it's just a small presentation. If you're throwing it on the fly, you need something that's not too heavy. And the nice thing about these jig heads is that the smallest one, you could throw it on the fly and it functions a lot like the heavy part, the bell of a Clouser minnow. And then if you just add on this tiny little, wow. The Canadian geese had something to say about it too. So you can either just put one of these small tiny little grubs, or you can actually, if you're savvy and you tie your own flies, you can go ahead and vise this up and tie your own little Clouser minnow on there. And it just works because then you don't have to add all that extra stuff to make the fly a little bit heavier and sink. So that's exactly how I rig it up. I can throw this on as light as a 3-weight. Now some of you probably savvy fly fishermen probably thinking like that might be a little too heavy for a 3-weight. It's not. It's just like throwing a wind resistant streamer. You could throw it on there. If you throw it on a 5-weight or up, it's like casting something really small, and it'll be super easy to cast. And they hit them exactly the same way. They hit them just as often, and we're gonna try to crush them on these 2 different setups today, so should be a pretty good time.
Just one more thing for all you dads out there. I'm a dad, so I have a 3-year-old at home. This is an excellent rig to throw because it catches fish. You're almost guaranteed to catch fish on this rig. I have a 9-year-old nephew that stood with me over the summer. Shout out to Sebastian. He learned on this rig. This was the first lure he caught a fish on, and he was really stoked. He wanted to go out every day, and I pretty much took him out every day this past summer. So if you are a dad and you having problems catching fish, go out there and get yourself the Mule Jig and the Kut Tail worm, and I guarantee you'll catch fish. Let's get after it.